I grew up in Columbus, Ohio, and I went to a private school up until 7th grade. And I have a brother who has special needs, and so my parents had to figure out, what was the best option for him, and then us as a whole as a family. And so Marysville was kind of like an up-and-coming rural area of Columbus, and they had one of the best special needs programs in the state. And so we moved to Marysville when I was I think it was in the middle of 7th grade. And so I moved to this school that was a small town, and it was really unfamiliar because it was nothing like the city, and so I did most of my growing up in Marysville, and went to high school there, and Marysville High School was pretty interesting because I don't know, I was a little bit different than most kids. I had I had friends. I was on the wrestling team, and I was a good athlete, but I was kind of a closet nerd. None of my friends at high school knew that all I wanted to do was go home and play on the computer, because I had dreamed of starting my own business since I was in the 3rd grade. And so when we were learning about designing logos in art class, or we were learning about making website names and web design class, everyone else was oh, this is stupid, this is just a joke. I was sitting there oh my god, this is unbelievable, this is amazing. And so I had this desire to learn about building web companies, and in Marysville, it really taught me a lot. I don't think anybody from my high school except for myself remembers that my web design teacher taught us that never have a website name over 3 or 4 syllables, and so I always took all those little things, and they all added up, and kind of helped me grow as a as a person, as an entrepreneur. I had started several just small startups throughout high school, and most of them, they were all pretty big failures. At the time when I first thought of them, I thought, oh my gosh, Mom, this is the next big thing. I'm probably going to be Bill Gates tomorrow, and quickly learned that that wasn't the case. And so I learned a lot of things the hard way. I would build a website, and I taught myself how to do, how to write HTML and how to write CSS and JavaScript and PHP, and so I'd get this website up, and I'd be how do I get people to this website? And so I figured out that there's this thing called marketing, and that's how you get people to find out about it. But I didn't have money to spend on marketing, so I was well, if I could just get people to talk about my website, they'll come. And so I started using forums and blogs. They weren't really called blogs at the time. And then and social media sites like MySpace and Twitter and Facebook, to try to create a buzz around these websites that I built. And I spent a lot of time doing that, and I wanted to know what was working and what wasn't, what should I focus my time on. And so I discovered this thing called analytics, and helped me realize what was working and what wasn't. And so I had failed over and over again, but with each failure, I learned so much. I learned how to program. I learned how to design. That's probably the biggest thing I learned, how important design was, especially on the web. And so I became a pretty good designer and not a bad programmer. And then I became really good at marketing as well. After high school, I kind of didn't really know what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I didn't know if I needed to go to college. And because I felt growing up, I always looked at Bill Gates and Richard Branson. I thought they never really went to college, so I don't need to. But my mom and my dad really wanted me. They really pushed me to go to college because they knew that I was pretty smart, and they wanted to see their son succeed. And so I started taking classes at Ohio State, and Ohio State was fun. I had tons of fun, but I was still my mind was always consumed. Every class I have, if you look at like the notebooks, like from my class, like notes, like you'll see like on the right hand column, like I would always like have like these ideas in class. Kind of just pushed all my chips into the center of the table and went all in on this idea of like, you know, getting people off the couch and getting them to go outside and live life, and using extreme sports to do that, because like ever since a young age I've always loved snowboarding and skateboarding and wakeboarding and BMX, and for the first time I'm actually doing the thing that I'm most passionate about. And I feel like because of that, like it's definitely the most success that I've seen so far. We haven't even launched yet, and so like my passion for this like really it really shows in my work ethic, because like I work like an unhealthily like hard like way, like because I just love it so much, you know. I've learned so much. I mean, from day one, like we've been learning so much about. I think the biggest thing is learning to pitch to different audiences. You know, Jumpstart Foundry has helped me be able to pitch that very, very well. I feel like that is, you know, the biggest thing that I've learned, like directly, but indirectly, like, you know, I've learned so much about myself and about my team. Like I've learned like to prioritize pretty well, because like I mean, just before this conversation we were talking about task management platform, and so like on a daily basis I'll have like a million things to do, but like learning to prioritize all those things is really helpful, and it's so important, because if I don't prioritize, like we lose so much momentum, and that's one big thing. And also like I think like one thing that I've learned is like how to lead my team, and I feel like our team, like as a whole, we are unbelievable together, and Jumpstart Foundry like has kind of like helped me, you know, helps me lead these guys and help me lead myself, you know, because like I have to, you know, I have to try to lead them, but like I also have to lead myself, because if I don't, then I don't know, like I'll get drained and I'll get worn out. And so, you know, Jumpstart Foundry has helped with that a lot. Jumpstart Foundry is like way different than most incubators. It's kind of like, I look at it as like it's almost like a boot camp. Like it's not easy. Like every day, like we have to do certain things, and we do a lot of things that most incubators don't do. And Jumpstart Foundry, you know, they teach you to raise money in Nashville, which is a very difficult thing. And so if you can raise money in Nashville, you can raise money anywhere. And so like I think anybody who wants to learn how to raise money for their company, I think Jumpstart Foundry is amazing, because it really is like a boot camp. Like, you know, if you don't figure it out like quickly, like then you won't last. The biggest thing I've learned over the years with entrepreneurship is that you know, you can go and do something that is a good like opportunity, but if you're not passionate about it, like it just, I don't know, it won't work as well. So whatever you do, I feel that you should be like so passionate about it, because like you're gonna work harder than any other job you've ever done in your life. Like you're gonna work like 100 hours a week. And so if you're not passionate about what you're doing, like you'll get burnt out, and your business won't last because you're not passionate about it. And so I think like, you know, being young and being like my age, like if you want to be an entrepreneur, if you want to start a company, like definitely do it in something you're passionate about, because it's so much more fulfilling.